Let me show you what your team should look like if you sell on Amazon. My name is Michael, we scale and sold an 8-figure brand with my business partner, and I've helped over 100 sellers systemize their businesses and build their teams. In this video, we are going to cover the 5 phases of building a team for your Amazon business. It doesn't matter whether you are just starting or already scaling a successful brand. This will be your roadmap. We'll break down who you need to bring on board at each stage, when to hire them, and how your role should evolve as your business grows. Here's why building the right team is essential. Running the day-to-day on your own will only get you so far. Eventually, you'll hit a point where the constant demands become bottlenecks, slowing down your business. By bringing the right people on board, you are freeing yourself from these daily tasks and giving yourself the space to focus on high-level activities where you can bring the most value to your business. We can't just throw people at our problems and hope for the best. To build a strong team, we need to be strategic, bringing on the right people at the right time. This means thinking carefully about the optimal sequence of hires, something that aligns with our current needs and the resources we have available. We don't need a large team to make this work. Our first few hires will primarily focus on freeing up our time, and then, as the business grows, we will bring in specialized expertise that will fuel the next stage of growth. So think of this as a rule of thumb, a thought process you can rely on in each phase. Before we dive in, we need to clarify how our business operates at a high level. Understanding this will help us define the roles we need. I have plenty of videos on my channel that dive deeper into this, but for now, here's what you need to know. From high-level view, a typical Amazon business consists of 5 main systems: product development, supply and inventory, marketplace operations, marketing, and customer service. The key here is to understand which of these systems are focused on maintaining the business and which have the potential to grow it. Simply put, product development and marketing are your growth engines. They are what pushes the business forward. On the other hand, supply and inventory, marketplace operations, and customer service are there to maintain it. With that out of the way, let's dive into the specific phases of building your team. Let's kick things off with the very beginning of your entrepreneurial journey. I call this phase 0. In this phase, the objective is simple: get the business off the ground. You are in it alone, handling everything yourself. At this stage, you are the CEO and every other role rolled into one. You are responsible for product research, inventory, customer service, marketing, all of it. Now the key is to move on to the next phase as soon as possible. Once you have a proof of concept, once you've validated that there is demand for your products and you are serious about scaling, it's time to transition to the next phase. Phase 0 is the classic solopreneur stage. It's a necessary starting point, but people often stay here far too long, juggling everything, getting lost in the weeds, and becoming the bottlenecks of their businesses. Once you get serious and start making sales, it's time to move on to phase 1. And take first steps toward building a team. The objective in phase 1 is to get focused and reduce distractions. You simply want to clear some of the smaller routine tasks of your plate so you can concentrate. In terms of team structure, you are still going to be handling most things yourself, but now you'll bring on a couple of key resources: a general VA, your assistant, and potentially a PPC agency. The general VA will handle basic admin tasks, simple research and routine activities, essentially making your tasks a bit easier. Meanwhile, the PPC agency will manage your campaigns, handling bids, keywords, and optimizations so you don't have to. Now, some people might think that it's too early to hire a PPC agency in phase 1, but here is why it's actually a smart move. PPC tends to be one of the biggest distractions for Amazon sellers. It's easy to get lost in the details, sinking hours into tweaks and optimizations every week. The truth is that effective PPC management requires expertise, and you don't want to become a PPC expert. You have a business to run. By outsourcing this part to a dedicated agency, you are freeing up your time and ensuring that your ad spend is handled by professionals. Let's clarify something here. The difference between outsourcing and delegating. Outsourcing is about giving specific tasks to an external provider who has their own expertise and processes, like a PPC agency. Delegating, on the other hand, is more about assigning tasks to someone within your team who works under your guidance. In phase 1, you are still going to be handling most things and decision making yourself, but you are not spread quite as thin. By offloading these distractions, you are giving yourself more room to focus and grow further. The biggest jump happens in phase 2, and this is where you want to get as soon as possible. Phase 2 marks the beginning of your transition from being the operator to becoming the true business owner. This is where you start stepping out of the day-to-day and focus on leading your business rather than just running it. Most people never take the leap beyond phase 1, so let's make sure it's not your case. In phase 2, your goal is to remove yourself from the day-to-day maintenance of the business. This phase is all about hiring people who can handle the essential operations, so you are no longer tied by the routine tasks. In most cases, we get the most time back by bringing on a supply chain manager. This role covers areas like inventory forecasting, purchase order management, shipments, and coordinating inventory in your 3PL. This role also handles communication with suppliers, freight forwarders, inspection company, and so on. By having a dedicated person for these tasks, you are freeing yourself from the complexities of logistics. We should also consider adding a customer service agent to handle customer support. But if the workload isn't too much, your general VA can manage this role. If we do this right, about 50% of the maintenance tasks are now delegated, freeing up around 10 to 15 hours per week on average. Not to mention the mental capacity we get back. That's 10 to 15 hours each week that you can now shift toward growth, product development, and marketing. Now, phase 2 isn't just about hiring. It's about transforming your business from a chaotic startup into a real scalable business. This is where the mindset shift begins, from working in the business to working on the business. First, you need to have some basic structure in place. This means setting up a task management software and mapping out your processes. These don't need to be perfect, but they need to be clear enough that your team knows exactly what to do without constantly needing your input. Second, you need to learn to let go. This can be tough, especially if you are used to handling everything yourself. Micromanaging every detail can quickly become a nightmare. So the key here is trusting your team and focusing on the big picture. And finally, this is where you start transferring accountability. It's not just about assigning tasks anymore. It's about empowering your team to take ownership. You are moving from working with followers to having actual accountable employees who drive results independently. Phase 3 is all about streamlining your growth and taking your business to the next level. At this stage, you'll be hiring a marketplace operations manager, or in case of Amazon sellers, an Amazon operations manager. A key role that will help you consolidate and optimize your operations. So what does this new hire do? First, they'll take over Amazon operations. This includes handling seller support cases, monitoring account health, optimizing listings, monitoring competition, and running split tests to continuously improve performance. Next, they'll manage your product development pipeline. They'll oversee everything from creating new listings to launching and ranking products. They are there to make sure that everything is as smooth as possible. They'll be also responsible for managing all the freelancers like graphic designers, copywriters, and photographers. Instead of juggling these external resources yourself, your Amazon operations manager will coordinate with them. If you work with a PPC agency, you will hand over the communication channel to this new hire as well. The idea is that your Amazon operations manager has his finger on the pulse of your account. He knows all your competitors, your rankings, your conversion rates. He simply keeps an eye on all the data we can get from Amazon. This phase is where you start building a systemized approach to growth, freeing up you to focus on strategy while making sure the operational side of your business is running like a clockwork. In phase 3, about 80% of the maintenance tasks are delegated. You are no longer in the weeds, but you are still making key decisions. When it comes to growth, around 50% is also delegated at this point, but you are still driving the vision. You are the one coming up with ideas and turning them into products, and shaping the direction of the business. Think about it like this. You come up with the product idea, design it, and decide to launch. Once that decision is made, you hand it over to your team to execute. This allows you to stay focused on strategy while your team handles the details. We are turning our business into a product launching machine. In phase 4, the objective is clear: increase growth capacity and potential. This is where we focus on removing the bottlenecks in our growth pipeline and unlocking the next level of scale. At this stage, there are 2 common scenarios you might face. The first is that you still have plenty of products in your pipeline, but you are the bottleneck when it comes to development. You are likely overwhelmed with decisions, which slows everything down. The second scenario is that you are already hitting diminishing returns with your product launches. In this case, the focus shifts to finding new opportunities, whether that's exploring new marketplaces, sales channels, or even alternative customer acquisition strategies. These 2 scenarios lead to 2 possible solutions, depending on what your business needs. The first solution is hiring a product development specialist. This person focuses on customer avatars, user experience, product research, and product improvements. They take your ideas and turn them into fully developed, market-ready products. If your bottleneck is in product development, this role is a game changer. The second option is bringing in a growth strategist. This role is all about experimentation and innovation, generating and testing new ideas to fuel further growth. They explore where to find new customers and how to engage them effectively. This might include content strategies, D2C channels, retail opportunities, or even collaborations with influencers. The key here is identifying where your bottleneck lies, whether it's in developing products or finding new ways to grow, and hiring the right person to break through it. So far, the team we've built has leaned heavily on analytical skills, people who are great with numbers and spreadsheets. But in phase 4, this new hire needs to bring a completely different dynamic to the table. We are looking for someone who's highly creative, someone who can think outside the box and generate ideas. Phase 5 is what I consider the final stage of building your team, and the objective here is to hand over management. This is where you bring on a general manager to take over the operational leadership of the business, allowing you to fully step into the role as a visionary and strategist. The general manager's role focuses on efficiency and alignment. They are responsible for team management, hiring, firing, conducting performance reviews, and ensuring that the team operates at its best. They also handle KPIs, monitor key metrics, optimize processes, and ensure everything aligns with the overall strategy. In many cases, your Amazon operations manager could be a strong candidate for this role. By now, they should have a deep understanding of the business and have been with you for over a year. But it's critical to evaluate whether they are capable of handling a management position. Not everyone is suited for this level of responsibility, so make sure they are ready for this challenge. As for you, this phase is about stepping back. You are no longer involved in the day-to-day or even the operational decisions. Your main focus now is on vision and strategy, charting the course for the future of the business while your general manager runs it effectively. Now, let's talk about what it really takes to succeed in phase 5. At this point, your business needs to be well structured and systemized. Everything should be transparent, organized, and running smoothly. This is what allows you to step away with confidence. One of the biggest lessons here is learning to establish partnerships. Your general manager isn't just another hire. They should feel invested in the success of the business. This is why it's worth considering giving them a share in the company. When your general manager has skin in the game, they are more likely to think and act like an owner, making decisions that align with the long-term vision. But finding the right person for this role will be your biggest challenge. If you want my one-on-one help to systemize your Amazon business and build the right team, make sure to check out the link below. In our next video, we are going to cover the full hiring process, step by step. Everything from defining roles and accountability to building hiring funnels and filtering candidates. So if you are struggling with finding the right talent or feel overwhelmed by hiring in general, make sure to watch this one. See you next week.